Ethiopian woman, the Torah doesn't call her Ethiopian, which is the Greek term. The Torah uses the Aboriginal term, which is Cush. The numerical value of the word for Cush in Hebrew literally means beautiful of appearance. That shows you what the Hebrews viewed the people of Cush as, their very skin, beautiful in appearance. The Torah is also one of the most ancient records on earth, which speaks about black being beautiful. When you open up the Song of Songs, it says, I am black and deeply desirable. So it speaks about the greatness of color. As far as anti-African, that comes from other Israelite sects, and I'm very curious to hear what Brother Seti would have to go into the Bible to show anti-Africanism.
Okay, I'm going to go to Noah, and I'm going to go to his 3 sons. Okay? Now, the first thing we have to understand, that the 3 sons of Noah are the ones that's supposed to populate the world after the flood. Yes, the Bible will go into Ethiopia, but it's clever. It's clever. Yes, it opened up in Ethiopia, but with the flood, they have a mechanism to wash away everything that came before they was on the scene. And so, yes, Ethiopia is the primal spot of the Lord in the beginning, but they immediately with the flood washed that away. And the starting point is now Mount Ararat. And from there, from the boat, then they supposedly go down into the land of Shinar, which is Sumeria. But even when you look at that, why would they go all the way to the south to start the earliest civilization? Why would you, if they started at Mount Ararat, you should have seen the northern kingdoms be the earliest kingdom. So why would they come way from Mount Ararat, walk all the way down to the southern tip of Mesopotamia to start civilization? That's fake to me. You see what I'm saying? Because, and then you supposedly got off the boat with 8 people. You got to account for mankind. If you if flood wash away everything and you got 8 people, it's going to take time to redevelop knowledge. How do you come up off the damn boat in a matter of a year or 2 years? Y'all already building skyscrapers to the damn sky. You come into Egypt and you are, and then another thing, when you look at it, Egypt got a chronology list at Abydos. That's 2,000 years with 76 kings. If it was a flood, and the flood, according to the Jewish Hebrew calendar, was supposed to have been around 2003. This is coming from Jewish calendars, Hebrew calendar. It's around 2300 BCE. So that's within the time frame of the chronology. So if a flood came and washed away everything, you should see a break. There's no break in the chronology. Okay, they're still building great temples under each king. So it ain't just like he a name up under there. It's a temple. And so you got 2,000 years. Ain't no way you gonna wash away everything and continue to build on a large scale. You're gonna have to redevelop that knowledge. So at what point in time did the flood come to wash away everything? Because the 76 kings that's on the list, they got a tomb for damn near every last one of them. And they got a pyramid or a temple on a megalithic level. You're not going to come off the boat with 8 people and then within 2, 3, you don't even have enough people to pull the damn blocks. You got to repopulate the earth if that's the case. And so when you look at this, Ham in the Torah is the father of the African tribe, the father of Cush. And he's cursed because he supposedly saw his father naked on the boat. So they start with the patriarch. So they don't put it on the patriarch Ham. They curse his son, Canaan. Now, I don't know how they knew he was going to have a son named Canaan. He named one Egypt. He didn't get cursed. He named one Ethiopia. He didn't get cursed. So if somebody say, curse be Canaan, why would the hell he even name one of his sons Canaan? How did they know which one was going to be Canaan? Why wouldn't the first one could have been Canaan? He could have said, well, I'm going to name him Canaan. Or the second one. I'm gonna name. So nobody knew which one he was going. So how did they know which one to curse? But they cursed Canaan. So that gave the Jews, the Hebrews, permission to go into Canaan. And we must understand that Ham is Africa. That Canaan is the brother of Cush, the brother of Ethiopia. And God gave the Israelites permission to slaughter many of them. And it's documented. Okay, that's how it's anti-African. Where God can tell you to obliterate everything. Man, woman, and child. Baby. Everything. And these are African. And what it says in the Torah, in one instance, I seen where it said they were peaceable and quiet. For they of Ham had dwelt there of old. So the Torah mentions that these wasn't even, many of them wasn't even warlike African tribes. They were peaceable and quiet. For they of Ham had dwelt there of old. And it says that Hezekiah slaughtered them all. Peaceable people, not even warrior people. So once you understand all the players on the board from Egypt, they got Passover, where they celebrate the supposed murder of all the firstborn of Egypt, those who had not put the blood over the door, so that the angel of death, well, that's our babies. They celebrating Passover. Why this God is doing this, not this goddamn smoke in the sky is ordaining these type of murderous holidays. You see what I'm saying? And as even though you hear about Ethiopia in the garden, whoop-de-woo, this also in Isaiah where it says that the Ethiopians will be carried off into slavery with their buttocks out and everything in shame. In shame. So at the same time, they do say some good things about Ethiopia. It say some very hideous things about Ethiopia. So we have to put that out there.
All right, my brother Zion, I hope you took a lot in. I hope you was listening good. That's some powerful point that he made as far as the Passover. When you say that it's not anti-African, but you can celebrate the murder of African children, women, a whole family, and you say you give the credit to your God. So why should we praise a God who have destroyed African villages and homes? I would like to see you wiggle your way up out of this one, brother.
Excellent question. And I mean, anybody listening right now could feel the room, could feel the power in the environment, and they also could feel the slithering in the environment, because there's a lot of funny business going on right now. Because if we're going to look in the Torah and speak about the celebration of death in terms of African people, first of all, Kemetic people don't represent every single tribe in Africa, because there were certainly times in Kemet where Cometians went against Africans as well. Let's look at the Norma palette. What does the Norma? Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. I'm dealing with it right now. I'm not sidetracking. I'm dealing with it perfectly. We allowed him to speak. Let's allow me to speak. The Norma palette celebrates what? The unification between Upper and Lower Egypt. And you see the standard to the right of Narmer himself bears what? The banner of who? The Netcharu. That means the gods favored it as well. Those people who are conquered are African people on the Narmer palette. They're not Asiatics, according to the Kemetic scholars. They're African people. So here we have the oldest record of writing coming out of Kemet, the Narmer palette, is celebrating the death of other Africans. But you go into the Torah now and you say, oh, y'all celebrating the death of Africans. Well, let me make this clear right. Let me make this clear right now. Let me make this clear right now. You cannot go as far as the Bible, which took place according to you, and we're in agreement, much later, when much earlier the same thing coexists in ancient Kemet. Several times in ancient Kemet you had the Kemetic people. Hold on, my brother, because when it's your time to speak, I'm gonna allow you to speak. All right, I hear you, but when it's your time to speak, either we gonna have a conversation or we not. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Either we gonna have a conversation or we not. You can jab, but I damn sure throw knockout blows, so you can jab all you want. All right. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. You see, when the information. When the information becomes oppressive to the mind, you see the action and the reaction of the people. Because when we deal with scholarship, I'm very disciplined. So let me finish my point. The Nama palette itself is celebrating the victory of Kemet over other Africans. So we have to cut that crap out. Also on the Nama palette, you see that the Necharu are praised for that victory. And again, replete throughout the Kemetic text when you go into ancient Egypt is the same idea. You find Kemetics with their hands all over the same Nubians that everybody's talking about in every lecture. How many times do we see the ancient Kemetic go into Nubia and tear them up and leave their buttocks out? So if we're going to talk the truth, let's talk the truth. Every people upon the face of the earth don't agree. You can't walk into ancient Kemet and say, I got melanin, so I'm a part of you. It didn't work like that. You have to say what pedigree you're from, what tribe you're from, what people you're from, what's your culture, what's your heritage. You having melanin was not sufficient to make you Kemetic. So let's cut that shit out from the beginning right now. In order for you to be Kemetic, you have to be of Kemetic stock and pedigree, because the ancient Kemetics fought with several Africans and laid their ass out too. So if we're going to talk truth, let's talk the goddamn truth. That's what I'm saying.
No. He didn't pass the mic. That's all right.
Can't let him skate on that.
Yeah. No, but that's all right. What's clear here, that regardless if he put up a historical tablet or whatever, we understand what we call the Necharu are principles, cosmic principles. We don't believe in no man in the sky ordaining human beings. Wait a minute. No, little human beings, and that's clear. Because if they don't believe in this God that ordained them to have that land, if that God is not real, then they right on to the land is not real. Because it's through that God and that blessing on Abraham. Say that I'm going to give you this land. You understand? And this is yours. But if that God is not real, then they claim on Israel is not. So don't let them try to make it bland. It's a key premise. They say it's godly inspired, that God gave him the book. You see what I'm saying? And so whether Kemet had beefs, because all brothers have beefs, but what's clear is that God, the man in the sky, that people believe their spirit is going off to see in the afterlife, has ordained. But if not, it needs to be a whole lot of criminal investigations as to what's going on, what happened to our people. Okay, what I'm saying? Because this is documented. You see, in the Torah. Okay? And so that's what I want to stay to the text. Because when I call names, and if Ham is not, I got the right there from the Hebrew Encyclopedia, they know who he is. As soon as you look up Ham, I got 3, 4 different, they know that he's the patriarch of the African tribe. They say it. So the curse started on the first one. The father get cursed. But they didn't put it on him per se. He put it on Canaan, his son. Now we got to understand, this is Noah's grandson. This ain't just a man that ain't connected. This is grandson. Shem, who's supposed to be the Semitic, who gonna rule over him, that's his uncle. This is supposed to be family, yo. That's critical too. This is supposed to be family. This ain't just separate. They come from one mom and one daddy. And now you get 3 different races. You see what I'm saying? So if you eat, the only way you're going to produce an Ethiopian is you an Ethiopian. Because that's the top of the food chain. It don't get no blacker than that. So that's the original right there. So, but the key, another thing, I want you to watch this. Another thing while I'm doing the research. When Ham, you got Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham children are already nations when the book come up. You see, they never develop. When they speak of Egypt, it's already a nation. They talk about Pharaoh. That's a divine leader over a nation. It's one thing to get a leader, but a divine leader, well, like you like the Pope. They looking at you as the religious son of God. So look how much development. But see, it don't show no development. The Pharaoh in the first book. It's in the first, already Ethiopia, already a nation. It says the land of Ethiopia. As soon as you open up, they didn't get no damn nation and damn near into David, Saul. Saul was their first king. That damn near 2,000 years. 2,000. Even a little bit more than the first king of Israel. We ain't even went into Nubia. You see what I'm saying? So that ridiculous. That totally ridiculous. Man, that book is like this. It's skinny. It's like a, wait a minute, I'm gonna hear like this. It's like a big nigga trying to put on the little kid's clothes. The book ain't big enough to explain African history.
All right, my brother Zion, I'm going to pass you this mic back, brother, but I want you to deal with that first question that he brought out there as far as the Bible being an anti-African book.
And y'all committing genocide. Did you hear about it?
Right.
God ordained genocide on the Canaanites. I'm going to let it go. It's clear. It's in many, many verses throughout the Bible.
Now, Zion, this is what you want, brother. They say be careful what you ask for. You might be in over your head on this one with the general, facing off with the general. So I'm going to give you that mic back, brother, and I would like for you to explain the first one as far as the Bible being anti-African. Talk about when you have your holidays. Do you celebrate the murder of black men, women, and children? Your Passover. Let's deal with that.
Real simple. Anybody who actually reads the Tanakh or the Torah, we're talking about a Hebrew text. Pesach in Hebrew is Passover. Passover does not celebrate the murder of Africans. Number one, as far as I remember, the text specifically talks about the Kemetic people and us being in Kemet. It doesn't speak about Africa on a whole. So let's deal with that, number one. Let's not turn the trial and extend it to the globe when we're talking about a specific region. Because if we do that, again, I could take and do the same thing with y'all. So let's make it very clear. The Torah is not celebrating the death of Africans. Why would that make any sense when the brother just correctly stated that Africa sits, the land of Israel sits on the African plate? That's something that we as Israelites acknowledge. We as Israelites acknowledge that Africa sits on that Israel sits on the African plate. So when you try to disassociate Israel with Africa by saying that Israel, although they sit on the African plate, they against Africans, it sounds a bit nonsensical. Because what you're doing is you're saying that we are African, but you're saying we against African. So in essence, you're saying we against ourselves based on what you're saying alone. So let me finish my point. When it comes to the idea of the Torah or the Bible, I don't speak for the Bible, by the way. I speak for the books of Genesis through Malachi. I speak for the Tanakh, the Old Testament. I don't agree with Christianity as introduced by the Eurocentric world. I deal with the foundation, which is the Torah. And again, when we look into the Torah is not celebrating the death. The redemptive process coming out of Kemet does not celebrate the death of the ancient Kemetics or the ancient Kemetic people. We are celebrating our redemption from a place which was a house of slavery to us based on the text of the Torah. That is what we are celebrating. We're not celebrating death. In fact, the Torah says this with regard to Egyptians. You have to consider an Egyptian your brother, for you were strangers in his land. That's in the Torah. The Torah itself says that you must show the Egyptian respect or love because of the fact, as they have pointed out, I've heard Seti on several videos before point out, y'all was in our land. When there was no corn or no goddamn grain growing in the Levant, where did y'all come? Kemet. Okay, so the Torah reminds us of that. You were strangers in their land. They opened their doors to you. As a result, you have to always show love. The beef that the God of Israel has with the people of Kemet is not necessarily the people, it is the doctrine. So hold on my brother, because either you're gonna act like a moderator or a defender. The judge can't play prosecutor. You gotta pick sides. Alright, you're the judge right now, so you can't be prosecutor. I think he should be allowed to defend himself since they call him the general. Alright, he definitely gonna ask some questions. Or Devon is going to ask questions on behalf, because I know that he's going to ask questions that's going to speak to the heart of this matter right now. But before I leave this matter, I got to make this absolutely clear. When I go into a place, the very first thing I identify myself as an Israelite. That term for me, what's implicit is the Afrocentric. I understand that perfectly. And real Hebrews say that. My brother Devon Prospect is in the room right now, and he's in Atlanta. There's a group in Atlanta called the RBG Hebrews, the red, the black, and the green. Why they call themselves that? Because they see that there have been several groups of Hebrews that have surfaced in the last 20 years that have tried to disassociate the Hebrews with Africa. So we are re-emerging, showing that not only is our culture Afrocentric in origin, but we are also stressing the idea that our practice and our teachings are Afrocentric by virtue of the idea. Look at the birthplace The birthplace of the children of Israel is Kemet. That's in the Torah. That's in the Torah. And I'm speaking absolutely truth. Judge can't play prosecutor, my brother. And I'm speaking absolute truth. So what I'm saying is this. When we talk about the practices, let's focus on the practices coming out of Kemet versus the practices coming out of the Torah. Because when we want to claim genocide, we can absolutely do that as well. Because certainly there's several cases of Kemet going into Nubia with the idea of genocide. So let's be serious right now. If we're going to talk genocide, let's be objective and fair. Let's not stare the barrel of the cannon on Israel. Let's point it right back on Kemet. I get it, and I'm glad we got the platform to speak on this. I get it, but you gotta, hold on, let me finish. I get it, but you got a tendency to interrogate the Hebrews and leave him open. Why? As far as I know, they call him the general. I don't think he needs your help. Because when you're doing that, you make the general look very weak right now. Because I believe that if he calling himself the general, he can handle it. So please don't even make it seem like you had to help him. Because that's going to look real bad on who they call the general. That's going to look real bad on who they calling the general. I'm going to make that clear right now. You see me, when it comes to me, I stand on Torah. Divine Prospect in the room, and I don't need Divine Prospect to do what I do. He calls himself General Sara Suten Seti. Let the man be a general, sir. Let him do what he do.
I'm gonna end with this, man, because my voice is getting hoarse. Yeah, I talked a lot, man. And so, the documents, we got to stick to the documents. I know what the good brothers are saying. That's in their heart. But what's in the Torah is supposed to be from God. So at any point in time in this debate, your emotionalism diverged from the text. I will quote the text. And it's clear. And this is what is killing me, because this is supposed to be a benevolent God who loves the world that he created. And I wonder all the time, I say, well, damn, if the Israelites was chosen, wouldn't it have been better to just give them the land from the first? Why would you bring another people into the land that you knew that didn't belong to them, and you was going to have to kill them to get them out? I don't believe that the Israelites are the chosen people. You know why? Because if they was chosen, God would have gave it to them in the first place. That was not their original land. Abraham's nativity was in Chaldea. So they're Chaldeans. That's where he come from. So Israel, which was Canaan originally, was African. So I want to be clear that the reason why they say this is their land is because God ordains it. And if God, this God in the sky, has not ordained this, then every premise in the book is false, even their claim on the land. Just say you made it up. Say you made up the God, made the God say what you needed it to say. It backed you up. You document the murder. You document that there was Africans in the land before you got there. The only question I'm asking, God said he wasn't going, after the flood, he wasn't going to destroy people like that no more. You see what I'm saying? But yet and still, he did not do that for us. He commanded them to commit genocide and not leave and take the women, the baby girls, and take them into slavery. And lastly, let me talk about good Moses. Good Moses, man. Good Moses. Good Moses. That's all right. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about that. I'm going hard body on everybody I got to go on, including Moses, who was a murderer. That's documented. Yes. That ain't slander. He's murdered Pharaoh's soldier. He killed him. He He murdered him.
He killed him. It's war.
Okay, then he murdered the man. He went to Egypt and lived there for 40 years. He benefited from Egypt. He benefited from Egypt. He lived there for 40 years. He should have killed them when they asses had nothing but rags on their back. You don't wait till you get fed. You don't get, he was a murderer. Matter of fact, in the Torah, when Moses go to chastise the Hebrew, the other from fighting his brother, that's the word that he used.
No, they didn't.
He used kill. Yes, he did.
Oh, he was killed.
Yes, he okay. Okay.
Murder.
Murder is killing.
Killing murder?
It's no difference.
Come on, my brother.
No, it ain't.
You the general, right? You should
Yeah.
at least know.
You kill a man. Wait a minute. Yeah, I understand that. But at the same time, it's clear because I wrote. I seen it in. I got it in a Hebrew encyclopedia. They refer to him as a murderer.
You tell me. What
They refer to. I got Hebrew.
All right, I'm asking you.
No, I ain't worried about it.
Between murder and kill.
Well, you can kill a man. You might be in self-defense. You can kill.
Self-defense, right?
But it wasn't in self-defense.
It wasn't in self-defense.
It wasn't in
I
self-defense.
see my brother being beat by anybody. I'm killing his ass.
But you in there.
That's kill.
You in there as a guy. You in there as a thief.
If anybody,
You in there as a thief.
I'm on
When did he find out it was his goddamn brother?
Not murder.
After 40 years, after you've been eating in the goddamn Pharaoh house. So when he was out there pulling them goddamn, it was all right then.
Yeah.
So what came into his mind?
But it wasn't
What
murder.
came into
It
his
wasn't
mind?
murder.
What came into his mind?
Of the fittest.
What came into his
Yeah,
mind?
he killed them, right?
What came
Even
into his
Egyptian,
mind?
The Egyptian
What God?
should have raised up
God
in
came
this
into
fight.
his mind.
The Hebrew killed them.
Did God come into his
It was
mind?
simple.
Did God come into his mind?
Come on, man.
Did God come into his mind?
Did the Hebrew
No.
kill him?
Did God come into his mind
Did the Hebrew
and tell him he was a
Who
Hebrew?
killed who?
Who?
Hebrew
Did God come into
Answer my
Moses?
question.
No, you answer my
I
question.
don't gotta answer your
Is he
question.
a murderer?
Fuck dancing on the goddamn.
No, you buck dancing, nigga.
Murder.
You ain't with you ain't with.
How easily I
Listen.
became a nigga now.
No, go back to Ham, nigga. No, don't try to. Listen, don't put no energy in this. Answer Ham. Answer Ham.
Come out.
Answer Ham.
You call me your brother.
You is
And I'm simply
You're dumb.
agreeing with you.
You're
And I
dumb.
gotta be a nigga.